What if the person meant to protect you becomes your worst nightmare? Over 12 million people visit Great Smoky Mountains National Park every year. It stands as the most visited national park in America. More visitors than the Grand Canyon, more than Yellowstone. Even more than Yosemite. Visitors arrive to witness ancient mountains wrapped in mysterious fog, to explore hundreds of miles of winding trails, to experience nature at its purest. They trust this place completely. They believe rangers in green uniforms keep them safe. They think anyone wearing the National Park Service badge guarantees their protection and security. But what happens when that uniform conceals something truly evil? In October 2012, construction workers tearing down an abandoned ranger cabin in a forgotten section of the park found something beneath the floorboards. A metal hatch, hidden, locked. Behind that hatch sat a secret room. Inside that room, 2 skeletons hung from chains attached to the walls. The skulls had iron masks bolted onto them, with steel plates welded completely shut over their eyes and mouths. These women had been missing for 10 years. Their families spent 10 years praying they were still breathing somewhere. The entire time, they remained trapped in the basement of someone whose job was protecting park visitors. This story follows 2 friends who walked into the mountains and vanished forever. This story exposes a system that abandoned them when they needed help most. This story reveals pure evil hiding behind a badge for years. If you are new here, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications now. Drop a comment answering this question. Do you automatically trust people wearing uniforms, or do you believe anyone might be hiding their true nature behind that professional appearance? Alicia Reed entered this world on March 14, 1979 in Westerville, Ohio. Westerville sits just outside Columbus, home to roughly 40,000 residents. Picture a classic Midwestern American community with tidy homes, perfectly manicured front yards, and a strong reputation for being ideal for raising families. Otterbein College makes its home here. Local churches play active roles throughout the community, and Sunday afternoons bring families together for backyard cookouts. Alicia was raised by a schoolteacher father and an accountant mother. She was the baby of 3 kids, the only daughter sandwiched between 2 older brothers, and she showed fierce independence from her earliest years. During her school days, photography and journalism captured her interests. She ran the school newspaper as editor and set her sights on documentary filmmaking as her future career. High school graduation led her to Ohio University, where she studied mass communication. During her first year there, she crossed paths with Megan Hall. Megan was 1 year ahead of Alicia in age and originally came from nearby Gahanna. Her father ran a small car repair business, while her mother spent her days nursing at the community hospital. Megan focused her studies on ecology and biology, hoping to build a career protecting natural environments, possibly within one of the national parks. Hiking had filled her childhood summers. Every vacation meant camping trips with her family. By her 20th birthday, Megan had already explored more than a dozen national parks throughout America. The University Hiking Club brought Alicia and Megan together, and their friendship bloomed instantly. Their personalities balanced perfectly. Alicia brought energy and spontaneity to every situation, while Megan offered steadiness and careful planning. They completed countless hiking adventures together across Ohio and surrounding states. University degrees in hand, both young women chose to remain in Columbus after graduation. Alicia landed a position as a junior editor at the local newspaper, while Megan accepted work as a lab assistant for an environmental research company. They split rent on a downtown apartment and seized every possible chance to hit the trails. Summer 2002 brought plans for their biggest adventure yet. They selected Great Smoky Mountains National Park, straddling the Tennessee and North Carolina border, as their destination. Megan had wanted to explore this particular park for years. It represented one of the last major eastern parks still missing from her personal collection. Their chosen path started at Clingman's Dome, the peak point along the Appalachian Trail, and continued to Andrews Bald, a stunning mountain clearing offering panoramic views of neighboring peaks. The journey would consume 6 or 7 days, following one of the most gorgeous yet isolated trails the park offered. Columbus faded in their rearview mirror on the morning of August 9, 2002, as they departed in Megan's silver 1998 Honda Accord. The park waited roughly 5 hours down the highway. Their plan included arriving by evening, camping overnight near the park entrance, then beginning their hike at sunrise the next day. Their last confirmed sighting came on Monday, August 12, 2002, around 8 o'clock in the morning. Weather conditions that day kept shifting, normal for August in the Smoky Mountains. Morning sunshine gave way to afternoon thunderstorm predictions. Temperatures settled near 25 degrees Celsius. Humidity hung thick in the air, and storm clouds were already building above the mountain ridges. Alicia and Megan pulled into the parking area at the trailhead accessing Andrews Bald to verify their gear and review the trail map. One final time, a park ranger noticed them there. His name was Ronald Harper. He had reached 48 years of age and logged 12 years working within the park system. He stood tall and lean with closely cut graying hair and a carefully groomed mustache. Co-workers knew him as someone quiet and withdrawn who chose working alone in the park's remote sections. His residence was a staff cabin located in the restricted service zone where tourists could never reach, and he seldom showed his face at headquarters. That particular morning found Harper driving through the parking lot in his official pickup truck when he spotted two young women studying a map intently. He walked over, gave his name, and asked if they needed assistance. Other visitors present in the parking area that morning recalled the exchange appearing casual and comfortable. Harper gestured at points on the map, offered explanations about something, and both girls responded with nods and smiles. Minutes passed before he walked back to his pickup and drove off. Alicia and Megan strapped on their backpacks and started down the trail. Nobody ever saw them again after that moment. Friday, August 16th marked their scheduled return date to the car. Megan had given her word to phone her mother the instant they exited the park and cell service returned. Friday came and went without any call. Saturday passed the same way. Sunday, August 18th arrived, and Megan's mother could not ignore her worry any longer. She contacted the police immediately. Her concerns were brushed aside at first. Two grown women with solid hiking experience might face countless delays on the trail. Severe weather conditions, unexpected route changes, injuries requiring slower movement back to civilization. Officers suggested giving it another day or two before panicking. Megan's mother refused to accept this answer. She understood her daughter's habits perfectly. Megan always kept her promises about phone calls. A Friday promise meant a Friday call without exception. Monday, August 19th marked one full week since anyone had seen the girls, and park officials finally launched a search operation. Their first move was inspecting the parking area. The silver Honda Accord sat exactly where they had parked it, now blanketed in dust and fallen pine needles. Old doors remained locked and personal items filled the interior. Alicia's purse held her wallet and identification papers, extra clothing, and a few paperback books. The car keys had traveled with the girls on their hike. Searchers would discover them later tucked inside. Megan's backpack pocket. Search teams headed out following the exact route Alicia and Megan had planned to take. The path wound through thick forest cover, rising up mountain slopes toward high elevation grasslands. Certain sections offered clear trail markers. Other parts practically disappeared beneath overgrown trees and wild shrubs. Veteran rangers took the lead position, backed by volunteers from regional search and rescue organizations. Day 2 of searching brought a major discovery. They located the campsite. It sat roughly 5 miles from where the trail began, nestled in a compact clearing beside a flowing stream. The location was perfect for overnight camping. Level ground, fresh water access, natural wind protection. A green Celti two-person camping tent stood folded neatly against a massive oak tree trunk. Nothing appeared torn or destroyed. The tent was packed as though someone planned to continue their journey any moment. Remnants of a campfire circle sat near the tent. Stones arranged carefully, leftover ashes, partially burned sticks. Someone had put out the flames but skipped covering them with dirt, which experienced campers typically do before departing. Two backpacks lay a few meters away from the tent holding sleeping bags. Meal provisions, a water purification system, medical supplies, and working flashlights, every piece of equipment remained in its proper place. Everything except the two young women themselves. Crime scene specialists arrived to process the area thoroughly. No evidence suggested any kind of fight. No bloodstains anywhere. Nothing indicated violent activity had occurred at this spot. Footprints in the dirt had gotten blurred and unclear. Multiple rainstorms throughout the week had turned the ground muddy and soft, yet specialists managed to identify prints from 2 sets of hiking boots and potentially a third pair. Larger boots? Different sole patterns. The search operation pushed forward for 3 solid weeks. Aircraft flew overhead, trained tracking dogs worked the ground, hundreds of community volunteers joined the effort. Teams covered every inch within a 20-mile circle around the discovered camp. They investigated every marked trail, every steep ravine, every natural cave formation. They followed all streams and rivers flowing downstream, checking if the girls had drowned and their bodies washed away by current. The results yielded nothing. Alicia Reed and Megan Hall had simply disappeared without explanation. Federal investigators from the FBI partnered with Tennessee State Police and National Park Service officials to handle the case. The disappearance received federal classification because it happened inside national park boundaries. Special Agent Daniel Morris took charge of the investigation. He brought 20 years of field experience, focused specifically on missing persons situations. Morris started his work examining everyone connected to both victims. Friends, family members, co-workers, past romantic partners. Every single person faced detailed interviews and alibi verification. Alicia had dated someone she split from 6 months before vanishing. Their relationship ended badly. He made repeated attempts winning her back, appearing at her apartment multiple times without invitation, but during her disappearance he was attending a friend's wedding ceremony in California. Dozens of wedding guests confirmed his presence there. Megan maintained no current romantic connections. Her energy went toward career advancement and continued education. She was seriously thinking about pursuing advanced ecology studies at the master's level. Her friend group stayed intentionally small. Close family, a handful of trusted friends, workplace associates. Nobody within her circle raised any red flags. Investigators shifted focus toward other visitors present in the park during that specific time frame. Registration records listing tourist hiking plans contained several hundred individual names. Background checks ran on every single one. A few individuals caught investigator attention. Solo male travelers hiking without companions. All of them came back with spotless records and solid alibis for subsequent days. One particular tourist from Florida named Kevin Burns generated special interest. He was 35 years old and hiking the park alone. Multiple witnesses placed him in the same parking area where Alicia and Megan were last confirmed alive. One witness went further, claiming Burns had actually spoken directly with both girls moments before they started hiking. Investigators tracked Burns down and brought him in for questioning. He confirmed seeing the girls and admitted brief conversation with them. He asked which trail route they had selected for their trip. He maintained that he then walked in the completely opposite direction and never crossed paths with them again. His whereabouts for following days seemed questionable. Solo travel meant no one could verify his location claims. Despite this, investigators possessed zero physical evidence connecting him to their vanishing. No violence indicators could be traced back to him specifically. Burns remained under active surveillance for multiple months following, though formal arrest never happened. Another person of interest emerged. The forest ranger who interacted with the girls during the morning hours of August 12th, Ronald Harper, faced questioning as standard protocol demanded. Investigators interviewed every park employee who potentially witnessed or overheard relevant information. Harper readily acknowledged stopping in the parking lot and engaging both tourists in conversation. He provided route guidance, mentioned incoming thunderstorm possibilities, and offered them good wishes. Following that interaction, he continued his regular duties inspecting trail conditions throughout the northern park sections. His statement remained steady, logical, and free from inconsistencies. Investigator Morris wrote in his official notes that Harper presented himself as a dependable, competent staff member. His employment record was spotless. 0 complaints filed, 0 disciplinary problems across 12 years of service. Co-workers described him favorably, though several mentioned his preference for keeping to himself. Preferring solitude hardly constitutes criminal behavior. Many workers in isolated environments naturally gravitate toward quiet independence. Harper never made the suspect list. His name entered the case documentation only as the final witness who saw both victims breathing. That concluded everything they had. The investigation stretched across 2 full years. Hundreds of different theories underwent thorough testing during that period. Thousands of witness interviews were conducted and thousands of hours, reviewing security camera footage from areas surrounding the park. Every effort produced 0 useful results. The bodies remained undiscovered. The person responsible, assuming such a person existed, stayed completely unidentified. The year 2004 brought the end of active investigation efforts. Technically, the case stayed open on paper. Officially, it maintained open status, but funding and manpower got reassigned to newer cases demanding attention. Investigator Morris transferred the case files to another agent and left the FBI completely to work as an independent consultant. Years later, he confessed to news reporters that the Reed and Holt disappearance never stopped haunting his thoughts, that those 2 faces appeared in his mind daily, that he could never forgive his inability to solve it. The year 2006 saw the case receive official cold case designation. An unsolved crime with no ongoing investigative activity, the families of Alicia and Megan refused to surrender hope. They established a charitable fund supporting missing person searches, planned yearly memorial walks, and accepted every media interview opportunity offered. Each passing year brought Alicia's mother back to the park, where she placed fresh flowers at the trail entrance, where her daughter was last spotted alive. She shared with reporters her strong feeling of Alicia's spirit remaining present within these mountains, her firm disbelief in her daughter's death, her certainty that eventually the complete truth would surface. Her instincts proved correct. The truth that finally emerged was more horrifying than anyone's darkest imagination. October 7, 2012 arrived, and Ronald Harper failed to appear at the morning staff gathering at park headquarters. This behavior was highly unusual. Despite his naturally quiet personality, Harper had built a solid reputation for always arriving on time. A co-worker decided to drive out to his remote cabin, checking whether any problems had occurred. The cabin occupied space in a restricted service zone roughly 15 miles from the closest public hiking trail. An aging structure dating back to the 1950s. A single-level wooden dwelling with an attached front porch constructed for housing staff working in distant park regions. Harper had occupied this isolated residence alone for a full decade. His colleague discovered him collapsed on the living room floor. Harper had stopped breathing. All signs pointed toward heart attack as the cause. His facial features were twisted in obvious agony, his palm clutched tightly against his chest. Medical personnel arrived, confirmed his death, and transported the body to the county morgue. Ronald Harper had reached 58 years of age. Following Harper's death, his cabin required clearing out and preparation for whoever would occupy it next. Initial inspection revealed the structure had fallen into serious disrepair. The foundation had shifted and settled, the roof allowed water penetration, and electrical systems failed to meet current safety codes. Officials decided complete demolition and replacement made more sense than attempting repairs. October 23, 2012, brought a construction crew to the location beginning demolition preparations. Their work started with thorough building assessment to identify necessary equipment and materials. One crew member inspecting flooring in the rear bedroom spotted something odd. The wooden floorboards in one particular section were not fitted as snugly as surrounding areas. They sagged noticeably under applied weight, suggesting empty space existed below. The worker shouted for his teammates to come look. Working together, they pried up multiple floorboards, exposing a metal hatch approximately 1 meter by 1 meter in dimensions. A heavy-duty padlock secured the hatch closed. No matching key could be located anywhere in the building. The site supervisor immediately contacted park administration officials. They responded by calling local police. Nobody had any knowledge of basement space existing beneath this cabin. No technical drawings or building records mentioned it. Perhaps Harper had constructed it personally during his many years living in this remote location. Police officers arrived 2 hours after receiving the call. They used bolt cutters to break through the padlock. The hatch swung open. Beneath the hatch, a staircase descended into complete blackness. Officers proceeded downward carrying flashlights to illuminate their path. What their lights revealed caused one officer to rush back outside where he vomited violently. The underground room measured approximately 4 meters by 5 meters across. Plywood sheets covered all wall surfaces and soundproofing material was layered over the plywood. The ceiling hung low, roughly 2 meters above the floor. A single bare light bulb dangling from exposed wire provided the only illumination source. An aged wooden table stood in one corner holding various items on its surface. Heavy metal rings were hammered directly into the wall facing the entrance with thick chains running through them. 2 human skeletons hung suspended from these chains. Both sat on the bare floor, backs pressed against the wall, separated by approximately 1 meter of space. Metal shackles bound their wrists to the chains. The chains themselves were not the most disturbing element present. Metal masks covered the skulls of both skeletal remains. These masks were clearly handmade, welded together from individual steel plates cut and shaped to follow human facial contours. They wrapped completely around the faces, leaving only tiny openings at the nose area. The eye regions and mouth areas were sealed shut with solid welded steel plates. The masks attached to the skulls using leather straps and metal bolts driven through drilled holes in the steel. Police immediately summoned forensic investigation teams. The entire area received crime scene designation and meticulous evidence. Collection procedures began. Processing the basement required multiple days of careful work. Evidence collected by investigators enabled them to piece together events that had occurred within these walls. Multiple objects rested on the corner table. An outdated Polaroid camera, a thick stack of photographs, a leather-covered notebook, a ring holding several keys and various medical items. Syringes, glass vials containing pain medication, rolls of gauze bandaging. Beside these items sat a welded steel container. They cut it open, finding torn fragments of women's clothing packed inside. T-shirts, undergarments, along with several personal accessories. A wristwatch, earrings, a decorative bracelet. The Polaroid photographs bore dates written on their backs. The oldest dated from August 2002, the most recent dated from March 2006. These photographs depicted 2 young women, clearly still living but obviously malnourished with ghostly pale skin and deeply hollow eyes. Some images showed them shackled against the wall. Other shots captured them seated on the floor. Additional photos showed them sprawled across a filthy mattress, which investigators later found rolled tightly in a basement corner. The final photographs showed both women already wearing the steel masks. The notebook held Harper's personal writings. His penmanship was remarkably tidy, his entries methodically organized. He referred to his captives as silent guests and documented their condition day after day. He described how they were gradually learning obedience, how they were accepting their new existence, how they were becoming flawless. He discussed the masks as generous gifts that liberated them from needing to see or communicate. The written entries were disturbingly emotionless, completely devoid of feeling, as though he were recording care instructions for potted plants instead of describing the torture of human beings. DNA testing of the skeletal remains required several weeks to complete. The final results verified what investigators had already begun to suspect. These were Alicia Reed and Megan Holt. Forensic specialists determined that both deaths likely happened in 2006, matching the time frame when the final photographs were captured. Pinpointing the precise cause of death proved challenging given the skeletal condition, but medical experts pointed toward complete physical exhaustion combined with untreated infection. Evidence of numerous bone fractures appeared throughout both skeletons, some showing signs of healing, others never mending properly. Deep marks on wrist and ankle bones proved the victims had remained in chains for extended periods. The forensic examination additionally confirmed both women had endured repeated sexual violence. Harper's personal notebook described these acts in the most revolting detail imaginable. They survived almost 4 complete years trapped in that underground prison. 4 years locked in chains, surrounded by darkness, totally cut off from the outside world. 4 years experiencing constant torture, degradation, and violent abuse delivered by someone who claimed to protect and serve. Investigation into Harper's personal history uncovered details that explained much while simultaneously raising disturbing questions about the system that permitted his employment in the park. Ronald Harper was born in 1954 in a tiny West Virginia community. His early years were marked by trauma. His father drank heavily and his mother abandoned the family when he reached 6 years old. He spent his youth with an abusive father who beat him regularly and an elderly grandmother too frail and ill to protect him. At 18, Harper enlisted in military service. He worked in the military police division, and official documentation described him as an exemplary soldier, obedient and productive. In 1982, however, he received discharge from the military citing mental health problems and violent conduct. The specific details of his discharge remained confidential, but investigating journalists eventually uncovered that Harper had faced accusations of severely beating a detained prisoner in the guardhouse. The prisoner sustained major injuries, yet the incident was covered up and Harper simply received dismissal. Following military discharge, Harper survived on various temporary jobs for multiple years before securing employment with the National Park Service. In 1990, how he accomplished this hiring remains completely unexplained. Standard employment procedures demanded thorough background verification, which absolutely should have exposed his military discharge. According to later investigation findings, Harper submitted falsified recommendation letters and deliberately misrepresented facts about his background. Either the verification process was conducted with extreme carelessness or certain individuals consciously ignored obvious warning indicators. Harper maintained his park position for 12 full years, and throughout this entire period, nobody suspected anything unusual. He stayed quiet, worked diligently, and performed his duties reliably. He consistently selected the most isolated work zones where he could operate independently. He rarely engaged socially with fellow staff members and practically never welcomed visitors into his residence. Colleagues viewed him merely as someone introverted who preferred natural surroundings and personal space. Nobody imagined that pure evil was concealed behind this ordinary appearance. The investigation additionally revealed that Alicia and Megan were definitely not Harper's initial victims. During thorough searches of his cabin and underground chamber, personal belongings from additional women were discovered. Rings, necklaces, identification papers, snapshot photos. Police managed to identify at least 3 other potential victims. Women who vanished in or near the park during the 1990s whose bodies were never recovered. Without physical remains, however, proving Harper's connection to these disappearances became impossible. The Reed and Holt case received official closure in December 2012. The perpetrator was deceased, his guilt thoroughly established. Justice, despite arriving tragically late, had finally been achieved. For the families of the victims, though, this provided minimal comfort. Alicia's mother, after hearing news of the discovery, required immediate hospitalization following a heart attack. She pulled through, but never achieved complete recovery. During an interview granted 1 year after the case resolution, she stated, "Throughout 10 years, I maintained hope my daughter remained alive somewhere, that she had gotten lost, that she suffered memory loss, that she had begun fresh somewhere else. I invented thousands of possible explanations just to avoid confronting the worst possibility. Now, I understand that the worst scenario was actual reality, that she endured 4 years of absolute horror and I was powerless to change it." Megan's mother succumbed to cancer in 2010, 2 years before her daughter's remains were located. She passed away never learning the complete truth. Maybe that was ultimately merciful. The Reed and Holt case triggered widespread criticism directed at the National Park Service. How could someone with such troubling history obtain employment involving visitor protection? How could he imprison women in his basement for years without detection? Why was his residence never inspected, examined, or properly supervised? The service launched an internal review and admitted multiple serious procedural failures. Employment screening procedures received substantial strengthening. Supervision of employees stationed in remote locations was dramatically increased. Mandatory psychological evaluations for all staff members were implemented. Yet these changes came far too late for Alicia and Megan. This story presents questions without simple, straightforward answers. How do we shield people from those designated to shield them? How do we identify monsters concealed behind masks of normalcy? How do we exist knowing that evil can hide in the least expected locations? Great Smoky Mountains National Park continues holding its position as the most visited national park across the country. Millions of visitors arrive here annually to experience wilderness, explore hiking paths, and witness mountain landscapes. The vast majority know absolutely nothing about events that unfolded in a distant cabin 2 decades ago. Perhaps that ignorance is ultimately preferable, yet some people still remember. Every year when August 12th arrives, fresh flowers and photographs of 2 happy young women appear at the trailhead accessing. Andrew's bald, Alicia had reached 23. Megan had reached 24. They carried dreams, made plans, anticipated futures. Everything was stolen by the person they believed they could trust. If this story offers any lesson worth learning, it is simply this. Evil does not always appear obviously evil. Sometimes it wears official uniforms. Sometimes it displays friendly smiles and extends helpful gestures. Sometimes the only protection available is remembering that not everyone wearing uniforms deserves automatic trust. Subscribe to this channel, ensuring you catch every new story we share. The upcoming video will examine another case featuring disappearances in national parks. A case that continues lacking resolution even today. Until then, stay alert and remember the most dangerous predators sometimes move around on 2 legs.